Hi, I'm John Ray, and welcome to the Thriving Podcast. I'm your host and intuitive coach, dedicated to amplifying your intuition, transforming your mind, and igniting your inner magic to create a life you're obsessed with. 2 years ago, I was burnt out as fuck in a toxic relationship and a successful tech career that I just wasn't happy in anymore. I left it all behind with no plan, and now I'm running my own business, immersed in purpose and passion, happily married to my soulmate, and living out my dreams every single day. And if you're badass enough to be listening to this podcast, then you're already on the fast track to doing the same, babe. On this podcast, we'll dive into all things life, business, heart, mind, body, and soul, empowering you to up-level your life and embody your happiest, healthiest, and hottest self. It's time to make idealistic your new realistic, because you're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive. Hello, my lovey-doves, lovey-love bugs. Happy Thriving Thursday. Welcome back to the podcast. I honestly have no idea what we're going to talk about today. Okay, that's not true. That was actually a blatant lie. And I said honestly, but that was a lie. I'll say I misspoke. I had no idea what we were going to talk about until like 5 minutes ago. And I productively procrastinated this podcast episode until the last possible minute. I don't know. And it's interesting because I productively procrastinated by making a ton of content on Instagram. So it's like not like I was lacking for inspiration of things to talk about. But when it came to the podcast, I was like, I don't know what I want to talk about, but I could easily pump out like a bunch of reels and stories. I think I have some funky energy with the podcast right now where I don't know if it's like I'm putting pressure on it, or I think I'm not. I may have talked about this last episode. Like I'm feeling a little bit unsure of exactly the direction I want to go with it, what I want to focus on, and kind of like, the format. I talked about that a little bit last time too. So I feel like because the podcast is just kind of a little bit in this floaty question mark state for me, I just haven't like taken the time to sit down and work through that like confusey cloud bubble of question marks. I know that I can access the clarity, but right now I'm promoting the mastermind while I'm doing the free mini mind, which is going into the mastermind. And you guys know I'm very big on choosing your priorities. So I'm kind of in this weird in-between right now. I don't know. I'm just being honest about where I'm at with this, because at the same time, I'm like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm settling with it. So I guess every week I'm just kind of letting myself be experimental in this phase. So thanks for coming along for the ride. And if you have any thoughts or feedback for me, I would love to hear from you as a listener, just to know what you're into, what you like. If you're like, I don't care, John Marie, I just love to listen to you talk. What type of content interests you the most? Not that I'm necessarily going to inform my decision on that a ton. I mean, I will obviously take it into account, but of course, again, you guys know 555 as I'm saying this on my clock, that I'm really big on listening to your intuition. And so it's actually funny because a lot of times I see people like, asking, and like market research is great. I'm not saying don't do market research, but I feel like I'll see people like asking questions to their audience to try and figure out what niche to go into, right? And it's like, what do you think of me for? Or like, what do you need help the most with? And they try to design their offer, or decide what to offer, I should say, or decide what niche to be in based off of their responses. And it's like, we actually want to flip that, right? Like we want to tap into intuition, figure out what you want, and then the market research is really to help hone within the context of what you've already tapped into, intuitively, versus what a lot of people do it backwards, where they ask, what do people want and need? And now, okay, I'm going to just do that and meet what they want. And they skip the step completely of actually tapping into what they want to do intuitively. And then the desire and the alignment's not there. And that's why then the offer flops, right? So I talk about this concept a lot of like desire, lead from desire, not demand, right? And demand follows desire, actually. So I don't know. This is basically just me kind of explaining to you where my head is at. Like I'm in this kind of messy state, and then also explaining that I know how to get out of it, but I'm just not, which is kind of what I talk about all the time, right? It's like, how to get out of whatever you're in. You know how to get the clarity. You know how to change the situation. You're just like not doing it yet. And I do think that's okay also if you acknowledge, hey, I'm just not doing it yet and this is why. So that's kind of where I am. So just a little, I don't know, real talk, 5-minute intro and kind of, I don't know, status update of where I'm at with the pod. And so, yeah, I am promoting the mini mind right now, the Magnetic CEO mini mind. And what that is basically, if you haven't seen me talking about it on my stories or on Instagram at all, is if you're probably familiar by now, if you've been listening to me, if you're a frequent listener or follower of me, of my mastermind CEO Frequency. And if you're not, I have a mastermind. It's called CEO Frequency. If you don't know what a mastermind is, then it's basically a high level, or I don't even know if high level, like high touch, I should say. High level in terms of like top tier. I don't know the word I'm looking for there. Group who basically meet weekly to mastermind together, collaborate, network, bounce ideas off each other, share your questions, all give each other advice, have a place of support, a place where you can go, where you know you have people that get it, or you get what you're going through, people who get it, etc. That's kind of like the original concept. In the coaching space, it's become a little bit more of, you know, it's a group coaching space and you're masterminding. So basically, in my case, my mastermind is a place where you're with other spiritual entrepreneurs who are on the same journey as you, other women expanding through the journey of entrepreneurship spiritually, personally, in their business, etc. And you get that community, you get to be with people who get it, you get that support, you get the vibe, the collaboration of frequency. You get gifts and advice shared from lots of different perspectives and lots of different areas of expertise. And you also get my eyes on your business and direct personalized coaching from me every single week and every single day, honestly, if you take advantage of the chat that we have in between as well. So it's kind of a combo of like, it's one of the most intimate ways that you can work with me and get my eyes on your business and have me as a coach. And you get the group aspect and the sisterhood and the masterminding and all of that. So anyway, if you didn't know what a mastermind is, that's essentially what it is. That was a very bad explanation of what it was, honestly. But I'm sure you have an idea, especially if you are in the coaching space. You probably see people talk about it all the time. So the mini mind that I'm offering is basically a mini mastermind. So I'm taking like a slice out of the full mastermind experience and what that would look like. And I'm offering that for 2 weeks, for half a month, for free. And I'm doing this, one, so that if you've never done a mastermind before, you can get a feel of what it is like to be in one. I actually did a mini mind very early on in my business, and I ended up joining that mastermind and working with that coach. I'm still working with her, and it was the best decision I made ever. Best thing for my business. And the mini mind was so valuable. And yeah, so I think, of course, you kind of want to taste before you invest a lot of money, right? Masterminds are a big investment. And so I really wanted to offer the mini mastermind. So it's like you can get a full 2 weeks, a really thorough taste, like a really good sample, right? You get to fully experience what it's like to be in the group with other women, to have the direct coaching every single day, to really feel what it's like to have that support system every single day and not have to wake up and be like, oh, what do I do in my business today? Or I'm stuck on this thing and I don't know what to do. Like you just always know you can go there for support, to get to experience the live group coaching calls, because there is nothing that compares to having the direct live coaching. Like in the moment, being able to bounce back and forth, being able to adjust with whatever it is that you need, and allowing the coach to adjust to whatever you need, right? Like it's so much more powerful. Like, yes, you can give me a question and I can answer a question to you in a piece of content or after the fact. But when we can be together and just going back and forth, I can feel your energy. You can feel my energy. If we need to, we can stop. I can guide you through something somatically, or I can ask you a question and hold space for you in that moment. There's just nothing like it. So I really want you to be able to experience the power of that. And so that's why I'm offering this 2-week experience for free. On top of that mini mastermind experience of the weekly live coaching calls in the group chat, in the community and everything, I'm also including 2 in-depth business foundations trainings. And these trainings are really designed all around what the fuck do you need to do in your business and how the fuck do you need to show up in your business. and who the fuck do you need to be in your business to be successful. So again, this is the Magnetic CEO Mini Mind. So the trainings are designed all around magnetism and how to be a magnetic CEO and design a magnetic business and really use your intuition in your business, because obviously that is what I am obsessed with talking about. Everything comes back to that at the end of the day. Your magnetism in itself comes back to your intuition. So the first training is going to be all about sales, marketing, action, launching, networking, like just the actions that you need to take to grow your business, get clients, make sales, how to market, magnetic marketing, selling on social media and posting content, marketing and selling in other ways, how to attract clients, how to build community, how to set up a launch, literally just the actions to take, and how to figure out which actions you should be taking, right? Because a lot of the time it's like you're hearing this person coach says that you should take this action, and this person says you should do this, and this person says you should do this, and there's a bunch of different actions that you're hearing. Okay, I should do that, I should do that, I should launch this way, I should post this kind of content, I should do this, I should focus on networking. And it's like there's so many things, you obviously can't focus on them all, right? Again, priorities. And so my specialty is also helping you really learn how to tap into your own intuitive discernment to figure out, okay, I have this toolkit now, I have this foundation, and this is how I figure out what feels aligned to me and how I'm going to combine the foundational knowledge I have with my intuitive connection to create an aligned strategy that actually works for me. I want to actually side note really quick here on this note, because I feel like this is a question that I'm seeing come up all over the place. And I just had a one-on-one with a private client, and we talked about this exact same thing. And it's basically the question of something along the lines of, I have so many ideas, I don't know where to start, or I feel like I'm being pulled in all these different directions, and how do I know what to prioritize? I feel too scattered and I can't commit to one thing. I'm having trouble committing. I want to talk about commitment a little bit later in the episode too, but like this question of, especially if you're multi-passionate, or people be like, I'm a manifesting generator, so I have so many ideas, or, you know, just like I'm ADHD and I have so many ideas, or I just have so many ideas and I don't even need a label to describe it. I just have so many ideas, or I just feel scattered and I'm being pulled in different directions. Like I said, like I hear this person say I should do high ticket, this person says I should do low ticket, this person says I should do a membership, whatever it is, and I don't know what to focus on. I don't know what I want to focus on, right? And so I just want to give really quick guidance on this, because again, I've seen this question pop up at least like 5 times in the past week, and it's actually so simple. I'm going to tell you how I walked my client through it on our call, because she basically had literally said, okay, I kind of want to do high ticket because I really want to focus on getting some high ticket clients and like getting some really like committed high level clients and bringing in a lot of money. And I definitely want to focus on that. But also I feel like I kind of want to focus on low ticket because it would be nice to just get like a quick cash injection, just make some quick money. And also I feel like I want to offer something more accessible to people. And also I just really want to focus on building my community. And like, so I don't know if I should focus more on like free things. And I really wanted to build up this membership so I can like just have something for people to join. But also I like really feel excited about doing these retreats and in-person events, but I know that's like far off in the future. So I know that that's like far off and I don't feel ready for that, but I don't know of like what to focus on first or like how to get there. And that was kind of where she was at. And so first thing he says, like, okay, what do you feel the most excited about doing of all of these? What lights you up the most? When you just look at all these words on paper or think about them in your head, like what, if you just take everything else, take all the factors out of it, right? And this is the magic question I said. If you could wave a magic wand and just whichever one you pick, you know that it's going to work out. You're going to be successful with it. It's going to be easy. You can do it. You have all the skills, all the resources that you need. Which one would you be the most excited about if you just wave a magic wand and know that that one would go well? And she's like, okay, well, definitely in that case, it would be the in-person events and workshops. But, you know, XYZ, I feel like I wouldn't make as much money doing those, or I wouldn't know where to do it, or I'm not certified in that thing that I want to do yet, et cetera, et cetera. And we just talk down all the buts. And that's a process I use with my clients all the time, is we use the magic question to get the fear out of the way just enough that we can actually figure out where is the desire. Right? What is actually the intuitive desire here that you feel really excited and lit up about, that you're actually being called to pursue and follow and create? And once we identify that, now we know, okay, now we just have to work through the butts, right? And then we just work through the butts one by one and we bring them back to truth And that's basically the process. That's how you run your business. That's how I run my business. And that's a process I walk my clients through over and over again, is whenever you're confused, do what you have to do to get the fear out of the way so you can access the intuitive clarity, and then work through the blocks and debunk the buts and work through the fear again. It's just a process of like, alchemize the fear, access the intuitive clarity, alchemize the fear, access the intuitive clarity. Or I should say, alchemize the fear, access the clarity, take the action. And then if there's a block to take in the action, we alchemize that fear. We take the action until you come up against another block and you start the cycle over again. Like, that's literally all it is. So don't let yourself get caught in that story, where it's like, oh, I don't know what to focus on. What's best? It's like, well, what do you feel the most excited about? I promise everything else will unfold from there. Everything else will unfold. Because what happened is when we talked it through and we were like, okay, so we're going to focus on the in-person workshops. Guess what? There's a low ticket offering. There's a way that you're building community, and there's a way to expose yourself to more people that could become potential high ticket one-on-one clients. And you're going to offer every single person that shows up to the workshop in person a free call or a discounted call. And guess what? Now you have people on connection calls, and you've really accelerated the like, no trust factor as well. And they already know how powerful your work is because you just did a live event with them. So we're actually hitting all the birds with this one stone now that you feel really freaking excited about actually creating and executing and pursuing. Executing on, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, choose to not have to choose, right? It's kind of that thing of like, by committing to go deep on one thing, you get to have it all, but you have to commit and choose the one thing first to open yourself up to everything else. And that's how you let it be easy. But if you're trying to go all in on all the things at once, or you're not letting yourself just get that clarity, right? Then you're going to just be half-assing everything and you're not going to be going all in, right? And so it's like, am I letting myself get caught in the story because I don't want to go all in something, because there's a fear of failure, or because there's a fear of something, fear of putting myself out there, letting myself be seen, or fear of success, or whatever it is, some other fear in the way? Or can I acknowledge that this is just a story and just take a moment, even though it feels uncomfortable, just take a moment to actually tune into my body and just ask? It's like the worst answer that you already know. You already have the answer. It's the worst answer. Literally all you have to do is just ask yourself the question and create the space. Again, I feel like I'm a broken record with this, and it's literally the lamest answer. I wish I could give you a more exciting answer, because I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's really all you have to do, is just hold space for the answer to drop in. Just take a second to ask. And I get it. I literally, guys, I do this all the time with myself. All the time. I'll be like, I don't know, I'm just torn with this and blah, 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 blah. I'm like perpetuating the story because I don't want to take 30 seconds to just sit my butt down, drop out of my head and into my body and just feel into it. Or I already actually know the answer. I don't even need to feel into the answer because I already know it, and I just don't want to accept it because it means I'm going to have to do something else uncomfortable. Right? But I do it anyway. I force myself to sit my butt down and just do it because I say, I listen to my intuition. This is my priority. I listen to my intuition above all else. That is what I put first. So you have to choose, am I someone who listens to my intuition, or am I someone who listens to the butts? This is what I say all the time to people when they want to invest in coaching and they're like, I just know this is so what I want, and I feel so called to it. It's definitely a full body yes, but I just don't have the money, but I just can't afford it. I'm just not ready, but blah, 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 blah. I'm scared. It's like, all right, do you want to be someone that listens to the butts or not? Do you want to be someone that follows your full body yes? Or someone that doesn't? Like, it is actually that simple. I'm like really getting tough love here right now, and I went on an entire rant about this, but it really is that simple. That's how you get the answers. No matter what you're confused about, what direction you want to go in. It's similar to what I was talking about last episode with like choosing your priorities for the year, And again, like it's the FOMO, right? It's the fear of commitment. Again, like this theme of commitment's been coming up a lot. And it's like they go hand in hand. Because the thing is, okay, I guess I'm going to like just talk a little bit about this commitment thing right now. if you are not committing to something, right? If it's you're not committing to an idea, you're not going all in on your business, right? You're not committing to just going all in on your business or on a certain offer, or maybe you start things and you never finish them, you never follow through. Like there's a lack of commitment, right? And I feel like a lot of the time, at least what I've been seeing, is people think like the lack of commitment is a lack of belief, like a lack of belief in yourself. And it's like, oh, I'm just not believing in myself enough. And so I'm not going all in. But again, if you're aware of that story enough to say it, that's not the real block, right? Again, I'm a broken record. That's not the real block. If you're able to tell me that's the block, oh, I'm just not believing in myself, you're choosing to keep holding on to that story because there's actually a deeper block that's blocking you from committing. So the question I actually want you to ask yourself, if you're not committing in your business for whatever reason, because again, think about it. Lack of commitment, fear of commitment, think about it in the context of a relationship. It's just FOMO, right? So it's like, what am I afraid that I'm going to be missing out on if I commit to this? If I commit to going all in on my business, what am I afraid that I'm going to be missing out on? Like genuinely ask yourself, what am I afraid I'm going to be losing by going all in on my business? Because I know consciously you're not thinking there's anything to lose. You're thinking there's a ton to gain by going all in on your business. But clearly, if you're not going all in and you're not committing, your subconscious does not agree with you. What am I afraid of missing out on by going all in my business? What do I feel like I'm giving up? Again, in the context of a relationship, it's like, I'll use my own personal example because I used to have a huge fear of commitment in relationships. I literally, guys, I had a phase, I may have talked about this on the podcast before, where I was like, I don't know, I think maybe monogamy is just not for me. Oh, I have energy moving right now. Someone needs to hear this. I was like, maybe like monogamy is just not for me. I don't think I'm ever going to settle down. I don't want to get married. I don't think I'll ever just find one person that I want to be with. And I had a super perfectionist attitude about relationships, and I was just always looking for any reason to not commit, basically. And what I was afraid that I was giving up, I thought it was freedom on the surface, but it wasn't actually freedom. Because this is the thing. Oh, this is the thing. I'll get back to that. This is actually really, really good. Okay, let me say this. I thought it was freedom, but it wasn't actually freedom. What I realized was that I actually had a subconscious limiting belief that I was not aware of, that there was not one person that could meet all my needs and desires. I didn't think it was possible to find a partner that had everything that I wanted and needed, that could fully fulfill me and satisfy me. So therefore, I was subconsciously assuming if I committed to someone, anyone, because of the subconscious limit I had on what the best possible partner that could exist for me was and could offer me, that inherently implied limitation, okay? I'm going to say that again. Because I subconsciously had a limit on what I could even perceive as possible for what I was committing to, any idea or potential of commitment felt limiting. And so this is why I want to come back to the idea of I thought I was giving up freedom because I thought commitment meant limitation. But I ask my clients this question. It blows their minds. I say, okay, if I ask you to commit to receiving $1 million every day for the rest of your life, does that feel limiting to you? Does that feel like, oh, I don't know, that's a big commitment. I don't know if I can commit to that. No, fuck no. Feels expansive as fuck. Feels abundant as fuck. You're like, hell yeah, bring it on. I'll take the $1 million. You're not afraid of committing because it doesn't imply limitation. So if you feel a fear or a hesitation around commitment, it's because your subconscious is perceiving a limitation that doesn't actually have to be there, that isn't actually there, but we just need to figure that out, pull that out, and then rewrite us. Your subconscious realizes we're actually committing to abundance. We're committing to freedom. We're committing to overflow. And why are we looking at it differently? I can't remember if I've actually given that $1 million question on the podcast before. Guys, seriously, I feel like I share these things over and over, all over. I have no idea where I've said what. So just to round off that example of that metaphor with the relationships, not metaphor, analogy, anecdote, whatever. I thought I was giving up the opportunity to be fulfilled by these other people, but that's because I didn't realize that I could actually be fully fulfilled by one person. You know what I mean? And then I met Sindri and I was like, oh, suddenly my fear of commitment is gone. Right? So sometimes the universe will gift you because, you need it put in your face to be like, oh, now I have the proof right in my face and I literally can't ignore it. But sometimes you have to get there yourself and you have to look to other people for proof, right? You have to have someone lift you up into it and expand your perspective, which is what I'm doing right now, hopefully, right? So to bring it back to the context of business, if you feel like the commitment is scary, what sneaky limits are you assuming? Ask yourself, what limits am I assuming that I am subscribing myself to? And this is an exercise I have my clients walk through too. What assumptions am I making about what will be required of me to achieve this? About the way that I have to run my business. Some common ones are assuming that I'm going to attract needy clients or low-level clients, or, clients that I have to drag through and that aren't going to be empowered, or assuming that I'm going to have to do a certain kind of marketing that doesn't feel aligned to me, or assuming that I'm going to have to work super hard all the time and I'm not going to have any free time, or whatever it is. And I'll literally have my clients again list out, okay, this is the thing you claim you want to do, but you're not doing it. So what are all of the limits that you're bringing upon yourself through this thing, or that you're perceiving that you're bringing upon yourself? What are all the reasons your subconscious has to not want it? And we list it out. What are all the bad things that are going to happen? And then we end up with this whole list. And I feel like I have talked about this before. And we're like, oh, well, of course you don't want to do that. Sounds awful. That is so limiting and contracting. Who would want to do that? You're giving up all your freedom and fun for this? Then we rewrite all of the rules. So if you're feeling a fear or hesitation around committing to your business, figure out what your subconscious is assuming that is going to make it less desirable than your current situation and just change it. Rewrite it and just choose to commit to a different reality. Choose to commit to building a business on freedom. A business that allows you to show up however the fuck you want, that allows you to market in whatever way feels aligned to you. Again, this is why I always talk about intuition, because your intuition is your desire. If you lead from desire, then you can't be trapped into anything. That's the whole idea. Same thing goes for an offer. If you're afraid of committing to an offer, what do I feel like I'm giving up by committing to this one offer? Is there an element of this other offer that I really, really like and is not a part of this other offer? Or is this an element of this offer that I'm trying to go through with that I actually don't like? And how can I just mix and match it to make an offer that I'm obsessed with? Right? Take the part you like about this one, get rid of the part you don't like about that one, and make an offer that doesn't feel limiting to commit to. Ask yourself, well, if it didn't have what, then I would feel excited about it again. Then I would have no problem committing. If I just knew XYZ about it, if I knew I would feel this way, if I knew this would happen, it's always just the subconscious limits. That's all it is. I even had that back when I ran Hot Girl CEO Summer. I was planning to run a different course and I was like, I just don't feel like I want to run this. And I was like, but I like elements of it. But I like elements of this other offer I was considering and I don't really know which way I want to go. And I was torn. I was like, I don't know which one I want to commit to and choose. And finally, I was like, what? I'm just going to take the elements I like of both and make a new one and just do that. And I was like, oh, it's never been done before. Oh, I never saw people do that. Whatever. Great. Awesome. Be a trendsetter. Go first. Be a leader. That's going to make your offer even more epic. So you really literally just get to bake whatever kind of fucking cake you want to bake, babes. All right? You just get to do however you want to do it. You make the rules. So all of that to say, complete side tangent rant, motivational rant on commitment. I've been seeing this come up a lot. That's just a little taste of the approach that we take to business here in John Marie World and how you're going to learn how to do that with every area of your business to create aligned strategies in your business that are effective and also fun as fuck. That's what we're doing in the first training. To loop it back, of the mini mind. And the week 2 training is going to be all about who you need to be, right? So that's the action. That's what you got to do. And then it's the inner world. Who do you need to be? The embodiment, the energetics, the CEO identity. I know I've talked about that in pockets, the CEO identity. I've talked a lot about embodiment and energetics, obviously, on the podcast. We have the masculine, the action, and we have the feminine, which is the presence, right? And the yang and the yin. So we need both. So I'm really, really excited because I designed this very intentionally to be like, if you could only take 2 business trainings ever, it could be these trainings and you would know everything you needed to know to grow a successful business, because I don't want it to be a gatekeeping thing. Obviously, I would love for you to join my actual mastermind after this experience if you love what the experience is. But I also wanted it to be, even if that's not in your wheelhouse or you don't feel called to join the mastermind after this, you still get a kick-ass experience and so much value that actually can impact your business greatly. Like, I actually want this 2-week experience to change the trajectory of your life and business forever. And it will. It will. I have no doubt that it will. That is how confident I feel about this and how excited I am about this program. So that's what I have going on right now. And if you want to learn more about that, you can obviously send me a DM on Instagram. Just DM me the word magnetic, or I have the application linked in my Instagram bio, and you can just go click on the link, check out the application, and fill it out if you're interested. And then I will get back to you within 48 hours if you are accepted. The spots are limited because it is a very intimate experience. And not only do I want to make sure that I can give everybody a really personalized experience, but I also want to make sure that every single person I'm bringing into the group, again, because it is a mastermind and it's a lot about the collective energy, I want to make sure that every single person I'm bringing in is serving the frequency of the group and bringing more of the energy that I'm trying to cultivate here. So that's on that. Again, if you want to learn more, just check out my page, and it's free, by the way. If I didn't mention, it is completely free. So like, if you feel activated right now, what are you doing? Girl, go DM me or apply. Just go click the link in my Instagram bio and apply, especially if you're feeling activated right now. So I was thinking, this is what I was thinking before the podcast. You guys know when I don't know what to talk about, I just close my eyes, I take a deep breath, and I say, what do they need to hear? What do they need to know? What's in the collective? What is the energy? What am I feeling? What do I feel like I want to express right now? And I had 2 things come through, and one was around commitment. And so I ended up giving you just like that whole spiel already. I gave you all there was to channel on that. We covered that thoroughly. So that was the one thing that was coming through. So I'm glad that we got that. And then the second thing that I'm also feeling a really strong collective energy around, and I also feel like it's actually related, which is this energy around being seen more and letting yourself be seen. And I feel like that is also a fear that is behind the fear of commitment a lot of the time, like at the root. Because again, what I was talking about with the commitment is like we feel like there's a fear of we're limiting ourselves in some way, or we're essentially making our situation worse than it is. And a lot of the time, committing to growing your business means you're committing to being seen more. Committing to making more money is attaching to being seen more, right? You want in your conscious brain to grow a following and grow a community. That means you're putting yourself out there, right? That means people are actually coming to you for advice. They're really seeing you posting content. You're being seen. Going out in person, you're being seen. If you want to build a personal brand or have an influence and really impact the world, you're being seen in a really big way. So that can be a really glaring thing that your subconscious is like, oh, hell no, I don't want to commit to growing this business. We're going to be seen as fuck and I want to hide. And I feel like this fear of being seen is coming up in a lot of different ways, and not even as much like the fear of being seen, like obviously, but more of what I'm feeling in the energy is a desire to let yourself be seen more. And so of course, obviously then the fear comes up like to counter that. So I just want to like riff on that a little bit, because I feel like there's this big pull where people are just really feeling called to share more of themselves and to even come really back to community. And of course, building community is a huge part of business, and relationships are a huge part of business. I talk about this all the time. And so I feel like it's just a real deepening in that, but also like I'm really noticing, and I've been feeling this too for a while, a pull to really come back to in-person stuff as well in business. But like I was saying before with my client, is like then there's a lot more fear that comes up. It was funny because she said something like, oh, I feel like it might be easier to do like a practice masterclass on this before I do an in-person workshop. And I was like, why do you feel like that would be easier, like a practice, Because we automatically feel like we can hide just a little bit more online. And so it's actually like a whole new layer of self-expression that really I encourage you to open up. And I'm really excited about this shift in the energy in the collective. And it's not that being online is bad or we want to run away from it at all. It's just that this is just another deepening of you opening up your authentic self-expression. That's why I always say the way you show up offline is the way you show up online, because if you can feel fully comfortable showing up as yourself in person with people, then you're going to be showing up so fully online. Because even though it feels a lot of the time like showing up online is the scarier one, because there's potential of so many more people seeing you, people see you so much more intimately in person. And so, yeah, I just want to kind of like bring this conversation in, I guess, of like coming out of isolation and coming out of hiding and coming back to community and starting to really feel safe with yourself and feeling safe to express yourself. Because obviously, authentic self-expression is not a new topic for me to talk about. But really just, I don't know, like in the big picture, I feel like letting yourself be seen in a whole new way. Just letting yourself be seen by everyone in every sense of the word. And I feel like, and I know for me personally, like this has been a huge thing for me. I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast. Like I've definitely had a thing with like finding my community again and finding my friendships. All of my close friendships have been long distance for a very long time. Obviously, my marriage is long distance. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a coincidence. There's something going on in the subconscious here, right? Like, I'm not letting people fully see me. And it's not that I'm not intimate with people. And obviously, I show up very authentically online in my business, with my clients, with my close relationships. But there are still blocks that I'm working through. And so that's why I really was excited to bring this conversation here, because I've actually had a lot of really great breakthroughs with this recently with myself. And I'm feeling like I knew that this was something that was on the precipice for a while. Like all last year, I was like thinking about it, making progress, working through these fears that I knew that I had around being seen in different ways, different layers. And I felt like as soon as 2025 hit, it was like, oh, I can't procrastinate anymore. Like, I can't be half-assing this anymore. Like, it's kicked up to full gear, and it's time to just go all the fuck out and let yourself be seen, like, in person. I started reading the book a little bit ago. I'm reading it here and there, Spiritually We by Saad Simone, because, again, I was really, like, immersing myself in this topic, and he talks about this concept of radical friendliness. And this is kind of what I talk about in business when I talk about how to network and like fun networking. But it's funny because it's literally just like the most fulfilling way to live your life is just radical friendliness. Like the simplest thing of not actively avoiding social interaction. Okay. And you might look at me and be like, you're a person that would avoid social interaction, but I was. And I was like, what is this? Like, I love talking to people. I love being with people, an extroverted person. And again, there are certain settings where I show up fully, and I love being around people. And there are certain settings where I'm very extroverted, and I'm very exactly how like you see me on the podcast, how you see me online. And if you know me in person, you probably see me in person like this sometimes, but it was more of like interactions with strangers, or like people that I just kind of knew. And I'd be like, oh, I don't want to like deal with that conversation. And I was like, what the heck, girl? That's like literally why you're here. Like, that's why you're here, to connect with people and experience life, And so I've been practicing this radical friendliness of just embracing human connection wherever possible and just not actively avoiding conversation. And it's really kind of disconnect to reconnect too, like not being on your phone when you're checking out at like the cashier line at the grocery store, right? Stuff like that. Starting a conversation with the other person that's sitting in the locker room with you, little things. And I think a lot of this, at least for me personally, and I'm sure that this is a collective thing, came from quarantine, right? And maybe just the social media age in general, where we just got comfy in isolation, even more than already so, right? Because like people are always afraid of being seen, right? Like that's a very natural human fear. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid of showing my true self, right? Afraid of being abandoned. And I think going through that time, it kind of gave us almost this excuse to embrace it, or like we didn't have a choice but to embrace it, right? And then we just got really comfy. And it's almost like, it's kind of like the smaller you go, it's like it shrunk our comfort zone in a way, to like hiding. And it's a whole different world being seen online and being seen in person. And so, and I even, like my cousin, he works in schools and he's talking about, like, I think this is a bigger thing with just technology in general, because he's always talking about like the kids don't know how to interact with each other. Like they literally speak like texting. Like they don't even, because they never had, like there's a generation coming up that never even had the before where there wasn't just texting and social media all the time, So it's just crazy. And anyway, I'm like going a little bit all over the place, but basically I feel like this is just the era of coming back to community, coming back to in-person connection, and really opening up to letting yourself be seen in all ways. And this is not at all saying like stop showing up online or like social media, online business is dead. Not at all. Not at all. But there's a great opportunity here for a marriage of the two to really bring it back into balance and build community in multiple ways and network in multiple ways and just fuse it all into one, and just really an invitation to be able to show up as authentically you everywhere you go, in every situation, in every expression, to just embody your authentic self-expression in every setting, with every person, in every interaction. And that is the true freedom. I mean, that's true freedom. If you're afraid of committing to something because you're afraid of giving up your freedom is embodying your authentic self-expression in every single moment. So I'm not saying you have to start doing stuff in person, right? I'm just saying start to notice whether you have an in-person business or an online business, or you have a business and you're not sure which direction to go, or you're feeling pulled in one direction or the other. Just start to notice, where am I showing up fully and where am I holding myself back a little bit? And how could I be showing up more fully just for myself and for my business, in my personal relationships, in my business, with clients, right? With potential clients, with collaborators, with strangers, with everyone, And this is what I talk about all the time too with my clients in terms of visibility and networking. Is we had a whole week on this in Be Seen Sales Queen also, is like you should be talking about your business to everyone all the time. Like you are a walking advertisement for your business. Tell everyone about your business. I don't care if you think they don't care. I don't care if whatever you think, whatever the fear is, and I'm not saying be pushy about it. I'm not saying you should be like forcing sales on everybody. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying you never know who might be interested. And that is what a magnetic CEO does. Actually, we had a whole module on this in Hot Girl CEO Summer too. We're definitely going to talk about it in the mini mind. But that is what a magnetic CEO does, is, again, you embody your message all the time. So you just bring up your shit because you're passionate about it. Right? Like the other day in my pole class, I just mentioned to them, I was like, oh, and I did this and I'm really proud of myself because I started making revenue in my business last year because we were doing our celebrations right from the year. And I was like, yeah, I'm a spiritual coach. And then this one girl followed me on Instagram and it's like, you don't know, she could become a client, or maybe she knows someone that could become a client, or maybe she knows someone that knows someone that, you know what I mean? Like you're always just butterfly effect, spreading your message, planting little seeds all over. And that wasn't forced. I wasn't doing that thinking like, oh, I got to network and advertise my business. But because I'm so embodied and I just am open and I'm not hiding and being like, no one's going to care about what I have to talk about. No one's going to care about my celebration. And I shouldn't tell people because they won't get it and da-da-da, right? It's like, just talk about what you want to talk about. And then you never know. It's like you just open the conversations, you plant the seeds, and then you let them grow. But it's like that thing of like, what is your job? And then you let the universe do the rest. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But again, I'm just riffing on basically why letting yourself be seen is so important, especially for your business, but really all the time. And I just feel like, yeah, it's time to just let yourself free. I mean, let yourself really come out. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself express authentically. Stop hiding. Share your truth. Show people who you are. Actually open up. I was talking to another client the other day. We were talking about self-love and like feeling lonely. And I think, again, there's like people are feeling lonely right now because we're so isolated from true connection. And here's the thing. You can connect with people. You can have interaction, you can have conversation, you can hang out with people. You will not feel the love from the people giving you love. You will not feel the connection if you are not showing up authentically. So you'll actually feel the love and connection to the level that you are if authentically expressed in that moment that you are receiving it, right? So for example, like if I'm feeling really sad about something and I don't tell Sindri what I'm feeling sad about and I'm like, no, I'm fine. He's like, I love you so much. He gives me a hug. I am not receiving that love at all because I have a guard up. I'm not getting that love to my core because I'm not sharing my core. But if I open up about the thing and I'm really vulnerable and I tell him exactly how I'm feeling and I leave it all out there, and then he says, I love you so much and gives me a hug, now I can fully receive that love because I feel fully seen and held in my truth. It's able to access my core. That love can reach my core because I've actually opened up to allow it in, to allow it that deep. And it works both ways. And that's how you really connect with your clients. You know, people are like messaging to connect with your dream clients. That's how you connect with them. You connect by connecting, by opening up, by letting them see you fully and seeing them fully as they're allowing you to see them. And by you opening up fully and letting yourself be seen, that creates a safer space for them to feel safe, to open up, to let you see them. That's how you build trust. And that's where the magic happens. And that's what it really comes back to. The reason why we got pulled away from this and why it's scary to let yourself be seen is like it just doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel safe to let yourself be seen because you don't feel safe in yourself, right? You don't feel comfortable in yourself. You don't feel confident in who you are. And really, you don't feel confident in what you're showing, right? That's why I talk about confidence so much. It's all connected, you guys. It's all connected. That's why I talk about confidence so much. Because if we're afraid to let ourselves be seen, it's actually not as much about we're afraid how other people are going to react. It's actually, if you think about it, it's actually a layer deeper of I actually don't know what I'm showing. Like, I don't know what to show. I don't feel confident in who I am authentically. I don't feel comfortable with that, right? It's kind of like if you have a really strong opinion on something, you're going to feel way more confident speaking up about that opinion because you feel so confident about it. Right? You feel secure, right? As if you're going to get into a debate with someone over the color of the sky, I always use a sky example, you're going to have a pretty decent amount of confidence, no matter who it is, like being like, no, the sky is blue, right? I'm very confident the sky is blue. And they're like, no, the sky is rainbow, whatever. I don't know. Trying to think of like a color that it obviously isn't, but I guess there are rainbows in the sky. But you get what I'm saying, right? But if it's something you don't know a lot about, like if I asked you to go express yourself authentically about a topic that you don't know anything about the, I don't know, like the age of the universe or whatever, something, I can't think of an example. You're like, maybe you have kind of an idea, but you're like, I'm not going to go like do a presentation on it because I just don't know that much about it, right? So that's why the more you know yourself, the more confident you feel in yourself, the more confident, safe, and secure you feel in yourself and who you are, the more confident and safe you feel to show that and express that to others because you know it. So that's why at the end of the day, everything comes back to connecting to your intuition because your intuition is your knowing. So when you open up your intuition, then you know yourself, you know all the answers, you feel confident in yourself, and then you feel safe to show yourself because you're connected to the truth. It's that simple. It's like a magical math formula, honestly. It really is all you need to know. It's really all you need to do is just connect to yourself, be you, work on that, embodying your authenticity, expressing your truth, getting into alignment and listening to your intuition. Any question, any problem you ever have, intuition. It's literally like, oh, you have this problem? Have you tried asking your intuition? Oh, you have this question in your business? Have you tried asking your intuition? It has all the answers. So that's why a lot of the work that I do with clients is just helping you learn how to access your intuition, how to open up and keep that channel clear and clear the blocks in the way of you tuning in, because when you can do that, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. It's really all connected. And that's really what I'm seeing it's coming back to is it's not even so much a fear. People think I'm afraid of what people are going to think. I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of rejection. And then we break it down and it's normally really not that. And what I find a lot of the time is it's actually, but wait, like who even am I? Like, who am I letting be seen? I haven't accepted this part of myself, right? It's a lot of self-acceptance because if I haven't accepted it, like, why would I think other people are going to accept it? Or why am I going to feel safe showing that to them, right? And it's kind of like, whoa, like, who the fuck even am I? A lot of the time, too, like, I had another client who we were working on this, like, visibility, and it was a lot of perfectionism, which I know a lot of you can relate to. And we were breaking down the perfectionism, and what we realized was she had been striving for this ideal of perfectionism for so long. And then when we finally freed her of that, it was like, oh, now you get to just be you. And it was like, oh, shit. What the fuck does that mean? That sounds scary. Who am I? You know, like sometimes we spend so long trying not to be ourselves or trying to make ourselves like everybody else, like comparing, and like trying to be how other people are. And then it's like, oh, I can finally just be me. And it's like, oh, what does that even look like? There's all these question marks. It's like, when am I me? And I actually just shared some journal prompts on this on my stories today. You can still find them. They're in my free mini mind highlight on my Instagram page. I actually pulled them from an integration protocol that I used with paid clients. They're really, really powerful journal prompts. I actually just did them for myself the other day. They're really great to come back to anytime you feel like you need kind of like a reconnect to yourself, to kind of like come back to your you-ness and be like, all right, what does make me, like, who am I? Like, what do I know to be true about myself? Or how do I show up authentically, right? We practice hiding ourselves so often, and we practice showing up as someone else, or we practice putting on and presenting a certain way and like being a chameleon in a lot of ways. A lot of us are chameleons. And so these are some really great questions that you can use to really kind of cut out the noise, melt out all that noise, cut out the BS, and really get clear and come back to yourself of like, when do I feel the most like myself? What relationships do I feel like I'm showing up authentically? And in what relationships or what settings do I feel like I'm not showing up authentically? And just ask, okay, well, what makes me feel that way? Like, how am I showing up or not showing up that makes me feel that I am being myself or not being myself? Are there certain things that I say or don't say? Are there certain opinions that I share or don't share? Are there certain behaviors that I do or don't do? You know, is it just a way that I feel? And why don't I feel that way? A lot of the time it's just because I feel safe and comfortable here, and I don't feel safe and comfortable there. Something that came up for me was I was like, well, in these situations, I'm just able to be present. And I'm not in my head thinking about how I'm acting and what I'm saying. I'm just doing it. You know, I'm just so present in my body. And that comes back to how safe you feel in the situation, right? So it all comes back to that inner safety and that foundation. At the end of the day, it's the building blocks. I mean, again, it's literally just a formula. I don't even know what this episode is, but it's just like everything all you need. This is the 101 on, I don't know, life. It's like, this is it. Inner safety. Set the foundation, right? Create a safe space within, connect your intuition, open up and express yourself authentically. That's life. That is the most magnetic you can be. That is when you manifest the fuck out of life. Like, you are the most powerful manifester. You are at the highest frequency when that is what you do. Your nervous system is regulated. You have inner safety cultivated within. Your channel is open, and you are embodied in your authenticity and expressing yourself authentically. That's it. That's all you got to do for business, for life, for relationships, for happiness, for money, whatever. If you could do that, nobody can ever do that 100% of the time, all the time. But if theoretically you could, like, you'd be like enlightened, like you would be, you know what I mean? Like, but of course, I mean, like, we don't even want that. Like, that's part of the human experience, is having that, you know, back and forth in that challenge. I was just talking to a client the other day about this also. And she was saying something like, you know, that doubt voice, I just need to, like, you know, shut that down because I know I can do it, whatever. And I was like, yeah. And like, we don't even have to look at that voice as a bad thing, right? It could just kind of be like, oh, hey, like, I know you're here to make me better. I heard Aubrey Marcus talking about this on a podcast the other day. And he was like, talking about it like, it's just creating competition, because competition, like, helps you strive to be better. Right? Like, if you didn't have that doubt voice and fear voice, like, pushing up against you, like, why wouldn't you settle? You don't have anything pushing you, you know? So it's kind of like we could thank the voice for, you know, bringing things up for us to alchemize so that we can grow and expand and create bigger and better things, you know? And embody more of ourselves. So that was another guidance I'm really getting this year, at least for myself, is just like focus on the basics. Like, simple basics, prioritize your energy. I mean, that's always, but like double down on, and I'm seeing this with clients too, double down with setting the boundaries, like actually making the space for yourself, actually fucking doing it. It feels like a big year of like action and execution as well. Again, commitment, like actually fucking doing the things. Like stop talking about it. Like I said with me, like with this, even like, you know, working on the less isolation and like connecting more in person and stuff like that. It was like last year I was thinking about it a lot and I was like kind of working on it. And this year, as soon as the new year hit, I was like, oh, okay, fuck. Yeah. Like we got to put it into action. Like no more sleeping on things. Like this is like committing action and we're doing it. And in order to support that, we have to have the capacity to show up fully in that way, right? It's showing up fully in every way, showing up, taking committed action, taking aligned action, and showing up fully expressing yourself, showing up fully, letting yourself be seen. But we have to have the capacity to do that. So we have to have the foundation of inner safety. We have to really be creating the space for ourselves. We have to be taking that time for self-connection every single day. Self-connection. Take that time, that me time. Again, you need to know yourself. Literally connect to yourself every day. If you want to have connections and relations with other people, whether, again, that's the love of your life, whether that's friendships, whether that's clients, right? If you're growing your business, you need connections with clients. Connections are how you get clients and make sales and make money. Connections are at the core of everything in life. So whatever area it is that you want connection in, you have to connect yourself first and foremost. Manifestation 101, embody what you want to attract. So you have to start within. You have to start with the inner safety. You have to start with the self-love. You have to give it to yourself every single day and you have to make the space to do that. And you have to cut out anything that is preventing you from doing that. You have to really set those boundaries and it's like, just do it. Like we don't have time to be wishy-washy about it anymore. So we have to get clear the channel, get clear on what it is we're prioritizing, what we want, commit to it, take the action towards it, and show the fuck up. This is the year of showing the fuck up. And this is your era of showing the fuck up. This is your authenticity era. It's your era of being seen. And it's your era of actually making shit happen. I'm really feeling a strong energy of like, this is the era, this is the time, energy moving, that you are making shit happen. If you've been on off with your business, like this, you're making it happen. You're going all the fuck in, like you're locking in. No more wishy-washy, no more maybe I will, maybe I won't, no more I'm not sure. Like you're in it and you're doing what you got to do to make it happen. Again, that's creating space for yourself. Now, it's not because I'm giving all of this, you're just doing it. That doesn't mean we're like on the grind and working 24/7 and killing ourselves. It doesn't mean that. But it means we're committed to all of that entails. We're committed to the aligned action. We're committed to the inner work. Right? We're committed to ourselves. We're committed to following through. We're committed to ourselves. We're committing to actually doing what we say we're going to do. That's a big resolution of mine this year is if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Because I a lot of the time, I'll be that person that's like, yeah, maybe I'm going to do this, or maybe I'll do that, or I think I'll do that, or like, I'm going to do that, and then I don't do it. Right? I don't do it. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that was just an idea, you know? And it's like, I'm not going to waste my time with like maybes anymore. And I call my clients out on this all the time too. And so I was like, I'm really buckling down on this because like, they'll be like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm going to look at that. Or like, all right, I'll try to do that. And I'm like, wait, why maybe? And they're like, yeah, I don't know why I said that, right? We don't realize how often we actually give ourselves that subtle out to not actually commit and follow through, right? And that's where paring down your priorities really, really is important too, because it's like, if you have too many things to focus on, of course you're going to be spin out because you're like, I don't even know what I'm prioritizing. So it's really a year of simplification, like simplify, choose what you're prioritizing, prioritize the fuck out of that and go all in on those things, right? On your self-care, your energy, your self-connection, on whatever your one priority in your business is right now, investing in yourself, taking it seriously. How does a version of me show up who's taking this seriously? That CEO identity embodiment is all what we're doing in the mini mind. All right. So if this, honestly, if this energy is resonating with you, if you're like, oh my God, like you are reading my mind, like I feel this so strongly, this is the energy I'm in, join the mini. I actually like genuinely, you need to be in there. Like this is really coming through strong. Like this energy, like this container is meant for you. Truly, that's what this space is for. It's for people who are on this shit. People who are on this frequency, people who are like, this is my energy, this is my year, this is how we're kicking it off. Lock it in. Lock it in now. The mini mind is completely free. You guys, it's completely fucking free. And if you're like, fuck that shit, I'm fucking free, I want to go all the fuck in, you can join the next cohort of the mastermind. It starts in February. All right? If you want to taste, join the mini mind. But we're going all the fuck in this year, all right? This is the year it's happening. This is the year it's happening. And again, I'm saying we're taking it serious, but also it gets to be fucking fun. It gets to be fucking fun. Like, treat your business and your life. Honestly, this is honestly the last theme I'll end on. This kind of turned into like a 2025 energy reading. I don't know. It's fun. Bringing fun back into your life. I feel like we have also lost the art of fun, which is also because we have fun in community with connection, and we're not open, we're isolated, we're hidden, we're closed off. So of course we're not having fun, right? Fun happens in community. Healing happens in community, right? But like, we're not having fun anymore. We're like too serious. We're like, oh, the world sucks. Everything's we need to bring fun back. We need to bring joy. We need that lightness. We need more laughter. When's the last time you like belly laughed that your abs were sore and you were like crying? Or how often do you laugh that hard? You know what I mean? Like, we need to bring more fun and lightness and joy and play, like legitimately, literally just having more fun, having more play, having more adventure. Treat life like a party. Treat your business like a party. And I don't even mean that of like that's a thing, is like, you're like, oh, and then I'm not taking it seriously. But it's like, at a party, you're mingling. You're talking about things you're passionate about. It's exactly what I was saying. If you're connecting, then it is effective. That's all you need to do. So I know I'm going a little bit all over the place, but all the teams tie together, right? Also, money loves fun. Money loves fun. Money loves excitement. If you're not having fun and excitement, that's probably why your finances are shit right now and you're not making any money in your business. You're closing off the flow. So these are all the ingredients that we're mixing together to make an epic fucking cake of 2025. That is your business blowing up. That's your financial overflow. That's your relationships blowing up. That's all your manifestations coming in. That's the energy of 2025. And these are the ingredients. Letting yourself be seen, following your intuition, feeling safe and secure within yourself, connecting to yourself, expressing yourself authentically, loving up on yourself, loving up on everyone, having fucking fun, adventure, excitement, play, lightness, flow, committing, simplifying. That's what it's all about. Woo! All right. On fire. Okay. I know I gave you a lot. I feel like I want to like give you a cap of like where to start. Okay. Honestly, where I would say to start is go look at my page, look at the free mini mind highlight. Even if you're not curious about joining the mini mind, even if you're not an entrepreneur, get those journal prompt reflections and authenticity and do those. And even just start to notice, start to bring your awareness to like, how am I showing up in all these different places and settings, different people? Like, where am I holding back? And how could I be showing up more fully? And what do I need to feel safe to do that? That is how you get into alignment. And when you're in alignment, you are a fucking powerful manifester in business, in life, in relationships, in any area. Make that your focus, coming back to you. And of course, this is my specialty. This is what I help people do. So if you are an entrepreneur, apply for the mini mind. It's a great place to start. Go check out those journal prompts. It's actually not as difficult as it sounds, right? Because all it is really at the core is feeling safe with yourself. If you can build a home of safety within yourself and a sense of security within yourself, then you will feel safe to show yourself to others, right? I feel like I give the most boring advice sometimes, but it's literally like, get enough sleep. Set boundaries and make sure that you have free space and time for yourself, and time where you can just prioritize your energy. Do things that you enjoy. Have fun. Prioritize your hobbies and your passions. Like the simple freaking shit. You know what I mean? Get into your body, move your body, go outside more, nourish yourself. Like literally basic ass self-care is the first and foremost most important thing, because you need that healthy foundation. If you don't have the foundation, nothing else matters. And honestly, if you just start there and just focus on getting consistent with the foundation and really prioritizing, like make your energy and your sense of inner safety and inner peace a priority, everything else will start to fall into place. And actually, your intuitive channel will start to open up naturally when you do that. Just come back to self-love. Self-love and inner safety, guys, that's the key to it all. And authenticity and intuition are the key to it all, but self-love and inner safety come first. In the spirit of connecting to yourself, I want to really invite you to just ask yourself. I guarantee there's at least a couple things right now that you know that the highest version of you, the highest, most loving version of you is calling you to embody more or commit to more. Coming back to that theme of commitment. What am I being called? Is it that you want better sleep? Is there a relationship you're being called to let go of? Is it one habit that you're being called to lock in? Is there a nudge you've been ignoring? Just start listening to those little nudges, taking care of yourself and setting that healthy foundation and asking yourself, what do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel safe to be seen with these other people? What do I need to feel safe to express? And give that to yourself. Honor it, whatever it is. Honor your needs. Honor what your body is asking for. And I think that's going to be a great start to 2025 for a lot of you. That's exactly what I'm focusing on. I love you so much. As always, let me know what you thought of this episode. Share it with anyone that you think it would resonate with. Share it on your stories. Tag me. Send me a message if you have any questions. I always love to chat with you guys. And I hope you are having an amazing start to your 2025. Go be you. Let yourself be seen. Talk to a new person today. Smile at a stranger. Let yourself interact and embrace the beauty of the human experience. I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.